Hi there, welcome back to The Bridge, and I hope that you have been doing well. I hope that life is going well, and if it's not, it will get better. Just remember that hard seasons are not there to last. Hard seasons end, and even in the middle of hard seasons, we can find glimmers of light and hope in everything. So, welcome back. I know it's been a while, but I think, I'm sorry it's been such a long time. Today's video is from a comment that I got on the other video about roommates, and basically it was a really good question asking, how do you know whether or not you should have a roommate or not? Like, what are things to consider? What are factors to think about when deciding? Maybe you're in matric right now, or maybe you've been working and you want to go to university full time and you want to live in residence or private accommodation. You're thinking, should I have a roommate or not? And again, just like I start every video, I'd like to say it's not a one size fits all. It's not, but these are things that I would consider from my personal experience, that may be questions that you should ask yourself regarding whether or not you should have a roommate. I'm going to say you are or you're not, okay? And the first thing is, some people just know. Some people just know. If you were in a boarding school in high school and you had a roommate and you've already had the experience and you just know, I don't want a roommate in university. Some people just know, and that's okay. If you know, you know. If you know yourself well enough to know. I would not be the kind of person who is good with a roommate. I like the way I live. I don't want to change the way I live. I've been in my own room my whole life. I just don't want to explore that. I don't think I'd be good with living with another person in the same room. I just don't like. And on that point, I just like to say, when I'm referring to roommates in this video, it's not a flatmate, right? A roommate means you are literally sharing the same room, maybe two single beds, but the same room. So that's the first type of person, is that, or that's the first situation, is you already know. So that's the first thing, is there are people who just know. But I would also say, be open to adventure. If you've never experienced before, consider it a possibility, because there are quite a few lessons to learn from having a roommate. So consider it a possibility, but if you know, just stick to it. Like, stick to your decision, because I don't think there's anything you can lose by not having a roommate, right? The second point and the third point are similar but different, in that, okay, what should I consider when deciding whether or not I should have a roommate? And the second point to this video is, look at yourself, look at your personality, look at your habits, look at the things that you struggle with, and ask yourself, would having a roommate, would living with someone in the same room help me to progress, or would it cause me to regress? In other words, for example, me, I have this thing where I literally cannot stand people breathing in a certain way, and it's not a mere irritation, it's not a mere annoyance, it's not a mere it's literally something where, if I'm in the same room with someone who breathes a certain type of way, I would prefer to pack my stuff and leave the room. So if I'm staying, so to me, I would not be able to handle having a roommate if that, just due to something like that, and something that my roommate has no power to change. But it just goes back to the question of, would having a roommate cause you to progress, or would it cause you to regress? Would having a roommate cause you to be so uncomfortable, or would it cause you to be so uncomfortable that you're not doing things that you want to do, you're not living as fully as you desire to live during your university years? Or would it cause you to come out of your shell? Would it cause you would having someone there cause you to learn new skills, learn new habits, learn new things about yourself, learn new things about dealing with people? Again, it really is context and person specific. But if you know, looking at yourself, that this trait about me, or this thing that I deal with, or this thing that I struggle with, if I get a roommate, it's just going to make it so much harder for me to really just get by. Then it's your choice to make, right? It's your decision to make. So that's the second thing, is when considering a roommate, consider whether or not it would cause you to grow, or whether it would cause you to get into a shell, or it stifle your growth, or it just make you super uncomfortable. For example, if you are someone who is a germaphobe, and I don't mean like you just prefer to keep things clean. I mean, this is something that it is a trait, that is a characteristic in you that, should it not be adhered to, it literally causes you to panic, or it causes an extreme reaction. I would say, look, in that type of situation, consider this: would having a roommate cause you to regress, or would it cause you to progress? So that's my second thing. I know it's a bit intertwined with each other, but simply put, knowing yourself, knowing your mind, knowing how you think and operate, would having a roommate cause you to progress, or would it cause you to regress? My third point, my third question when considering whether or not you should have a roommate is, do you conduct a lifestyle that could negatively impact someone else? In other words, if you are living a certain way and you are unwilling to compromise on the way that you live, on the habits that you have, and you know that these habits or the way that you live would have a negative impact if you were to live with someone else in the same room, then maybe you just shouldn't have a roommate, right? If you're the type of person who knows that you want to conduct a lifestyle where you come back to your home or your house at 2 a.m. and you invite the whole party over to your house to have some snacks and to dance some more, then look, ask yourself, would this be okay for someone else, living with someone else? I think the golden thread throughout this whole video is just really be honest with yourself. Really be honest with yourself to ask, firstly, would having a roommate make me uncomfortable in a way that doesn't cause my growth? And secondly, would I be a good roommate to someone else? If I have certain habits in my life that I am just unwilling to change and unwilling to compromise for someone else, then let's just not put ourselves in a situation where someone else would have to be negatively impacted by the kind of lifestyle that I lead. So that's really all that I have for this video. I guess it's kind of vague, and if you want, put it in the comments below whether or not you want me to be more specific, like to give an actual pointers about whether or not to have a roommate, like specific instances. And I think if you do so desire such a video, I can really go back to my own experiences and maybe things that I've seen and witnessed about whether or not types of situations where people would be good roommates, or types of situations where people would just rather not have a roommate. Yeah, so I hope that you've enjoyed that. There is so much more to say about roommates and the conversations that we can have about them, but yeah, I think my next video is going to be about how to know whether you should leave a roommate. Like, how do you know, like, okay, no, enough is enough, this is not a situation that I should be in anymore? I'm going to talk about that in the next video, and how to deal with that. I will see you guys in the next video.